Welcome back to Startup Nomad. This week I'm here with Scott Mackin. He's an American who's relocated to Barcelona, and he's very involved with the startup scene there, writing about it for Barcino, which he's the founder of, and he's also been a mentor at Seed Camp and Startup Boot Camp. He's a curator for Startup Genome. He's the director at Bourbon Creative, and those are just among many of his other accomplishments. So Scott, thanks so much for being here with me today.
Thank you, Kate, for having me.
Awesome. So maybe we should get started with a little bit of your story. If you could tell us how you ended up in the world of entrepreneurship and how you ended up in Barcelona.
Sure. Reading off those things, it sounds like I'm a professional LinkedIn user or something. My startup story begins by accident, maybe like most. In Southern California, a friend and I went in on a venture to help people who were affected by the housing crisis qualify for home loans again. A lot of people, when the economic collapse happened in late 2008, people who were still making the same income, living the same lives, all of a sudden couldn't qualify for certain loans for home or school or cars or these kinds of things. And so we wanted to help them, pay down debt, improve their credit, these kinds of things, something we had experience with. And it turned out it was a scalable model, and we were able to scale it online and grow very quickly, kind of opportunistically because of the economic crisis. And what I realized with that project is that I had no passion for it. I promised myself my next venture would be something that I was passionate about. And I exited, I got rid of my shares to my partners, and I went back to school, got my MBA from the University of San Diego, and through that program, parlayed an international curriculum with coursework mostly in Barcelona, but also in Istanbul and Berlin, which kind of expanded my interest in startups. And one thing I noticed about Barcelona was that there was nothing to find online in English about the entrepreneurship scene and entrepreneurship culture in Barcelona. So I really that was always in the back of my head as I was in school. And I thought, hey, somebody should be writing about this. There's a lot going on here. There's a ton of activities. There's some of the best talent in the world coming through the city every year. It's just a matter of time before these amazing projects start getting legs and going worldwide. And so we started very modestly. We had a WordPress role blog that just, we tried to, myself and a couple friends started writing on. And we quickly gained momentum. People wanted to read and hear about what was going on here, but not just locally, considering we're in a Spanish-speaking, Catalan-speaking city, but internationally. There's a lot of interest in this city, especially as Spain hopefully rebounds from this economic crisis as well. We want to be, kind of the first stop for investors and entrepreneurs trying to find out what's going on in Spain. And so that was kind of the start of Barcino.
Awesome. So what is going on then? That's obviously a super broad question, but if you could tell me a little bit about what that startup scene in Barcelona does look like and maybe how it's similar or different to other cities that you're familiar with.
Sure. So as I'm sure you're well aware in your travels, the startup scene is exploding everywhere. Entrepreneurship is on the rise. With technology, it's opening up the gates to anybody who has an idea or a project, whether it's their full-time job or a passion project, to get involved and to start on a shoestring budget. And so what's happening in Barcelona is this trend, this kind of hot moment for entrepreneurship. It's super accelerated because of the economic crisis. There's record overwhelming unemployment numbers here, especially among the youth, 20 to 35-year-olds. Highly educated with nothing to put their minds and their resources towards. So a lot of them are starting companies. And it's accelerated because Spain as a government, as a Barcelona, as a city and as an ecosystem is supporting that growth and trying to help startups get going faster. And Barcelona, we have a lot of things going for us. We're very, very lucky as far as I mentioned before. We're one of the talent hubs in the world. We have 3 of the best business schools in Europe right here in Barcelona, some of the best engineering programs and research centers here as well. So there's no lack of talent in Barcelona. Then you mix that with one of the lowest costs of living in Europe, Europe's cosmopolitan cities. You have this kind of perfect mixture of high quality talent at a very low price. And so it's a great place to start a new project. to test, to experiment, and not run through a million euros in seed money. You know, you have a lot of chances to try and iterate and keep improving your project. And then, you know, if necessary, you can maybe look at alternative destinations for growing or scaling globally. But for Barcelona, it's geographically perfect as well. It kind of unites the Latin American market with the European market. So it's got a lot of strategic advantage here. Plus, it's just a really creative town. There's kind of you know, it's Gaudi city, you know, and it's got that creativity and design element in its blood. So you have a really, you know, strong cocktail of you know, resources here for anybody who wants to start a new project.
Awesome. So that was a lot of the good, but what's missing from Barcelona? What still needs to happen there to make it a really mature entrepreneurial ecosystem?
That's the word right there. Is as awesome as a landscape and fertile ground it is to start a project. We're very, very immature and young as a startup ecosystem. We're probably just getting into our second generation now. You think maybe the first .com boom was the start of Barcelona's, you know, foray into tech projects or any kind of, you know, innovative startups coming around in the past 10 years. Well, now, you know, there's been some success stories. You know, maybe not the global household names yet, like a Spotify or Skype or something like that for other cities in Europe, but we do have our own success stories, and these entrepreneurs are now turning around, you know, and becoming mentors and advisors to other projects. So, you know, there's still a long ways to go. The government could definitely make further efforts, and they are improving, but they could definitely make it easier for companies to get started here. There is a little bit of a burden and immediate tax pressure, you know, for local startups in Spain and Barcelona to have to pay taxes from day one, regardless of your revenue. And, you know, in addition to that, we do have a little bit of a funding gap. It's actually fairly, I don't want to, you know, totally gloss over it, but it's fairly easy to raise $100,000, 100,000 euros in Barcelona. You know, or 50 to 150 for your, you know, from a business angel, from some friends and family investors. You can put together a solid round to seed your project. Mm-hmm. What happens is then there's hundreds of projects at the seed level, and only a few are making it to that next hurdle, which is raising Series A money and or a second seed round. You know, more in the 500,000 to 5 million range. There's a bottleneck there, and there's probably only about 3 or 4 real venture capital firms in Barcelona that are even lending to or investing in startups. And so we are hitting that bottleneck now, and I've seen way too many projects fail simply because they just couldn't get going fast enough. They didn't have enough runway. Even if their model had potential and they were you know, starting to get traction, they're coming up short because they can't raise funding. And that's also the reason some companies are leaving the Barcelona ecosystem, is they reach a point where the resources they need are no longer here, and they need to go to bigger hubs like a London or New York or San Francisco or Silicon Valley. Gotcha.
So where do you see the ecosystem there in, say, 5 years or maybe 10 years?
I mean, I'm an optimist. I would love to see Barcelona among the top 5, top 10 cities in the world to start a company. I think all the ingredients are here. There's really no room for excuse anymore. It's got to be done by the entrepreneurs now, and you know, the right projects will get funded, no doubt about it. And we need our home run. We need our success story. We need our you know, we need our Airbnb, our Uber. We need one of these projects to come out of Barcelona that's going to take presence on the global stage. Because, you know, Barcelona also faces that hurdle of being seen as kind of a little bit of a lifestyle city, which of course it is. We do have a great quality of life here, but you know, we're for real, and the startups here are very serious and driven teams, and they're gonna you know, come up with some amazing projects in the next few months and few years. And so I'm really excited and really optimistic with what's coming out of this city. So with Barcino, our goal is just to kind of hang on for the ride and do our best to cover the cool projects that are coming up here.
Awesome. And now, would you say that as people are trying to build up the ecosystem in Barcelona, are they focused on Barcelona, the city itself, or are they focused on maybe Spain in general? And I know there's some political stuff with Barcelona and Spain as a whole. Or are they focused on just, anywhere we can build up entrepreneurship, we'll work on that? What would you say? Because I know there are a lot of foreigners in Barcelona, so I'm not sure if they're, if they're really super committed to Barcelona, or if they're just interested in entrepreneurship, and Barcelona is an awesome place to be for a few years.
Yeah, I mean, there's everything you mentioned. There's aspects of all of it. Barcelona does have a tremendous quality of life, and with technology, like I said, a lot of these startups aren't necessarily high growth, $100 million projects. They're lifestyle projects. They're people who want to just, do something they love and make some money off of it, and just enough to get by and to live and to support the life they want. And Barcelona is a great place for that, especially as technology costs come down. You can pretty much do everything from your laptop now. I know a lot of people working at co-working spaces like Mob, the makers of Barcelona, or other communities in town, made up of just freelancers that have clients all over the world, but they live here.
Yeah.
But there was, and I say was in a past tense, there was a little bit of a safeguard, or not a safeguard, but a kind of a tendency for Barcelona or Spanish startups to really only focus on the Spanish market, and that was definitely hopefully a trend that's changing, and people are realizing how important it is to be on the global stage. And that's still something that definitely needs help here in Barcelona, is the ability for Barcelona and Spanish projects to self-market themselves, to self-promote, to create great content, and to get out there and not be shy about ringing your own bell and showing the world what you're working on. And that's something that Barcino is actively engaged in helping and supporting any startups that want to. We kind of want to amplify their voice, especially to the international business community, which is an English-speaking community.
Awesome. So last question for you then. What advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs?
Find your paying client as soon as possible. That's the biggest thing. I mean, we like everywhere else, we treat the lean startup as our Bible, and we keep it under our pillow at night. And so it's rule number one. It's go find somebody who's going to pay for this. Otherwise, don't even bother. And fail fast. And I know it's super cliche at this point, but it's true. I mean, don't spend all the time working on your product, and this is so key for engineers, because they want to be behind their computer, and it's safe, and they want to keep tweaking and polishing their MVP. It's the wrong way. Get out there, talk to your clients, see what they think, because you can guess at what they think all the time, but I've seen a lot of projects close their doors just because they didn't talk to their customers. And it's a really sad moment, when something could have been done a few months ago, but now at this point it's too late. So I would say, to startups everywhere, it's all about your customers, your clients, whether you're B2C or B2B. Get out there, hear what they have to say, get feedback, and then take it back to the lab and keep working on it and keep improving. But get somebody who's willing to pay for it from day one, then go build it.
Great advice. Thank you so much for your time today, Scott.
Thank you, Kate.
Did you find this video helpful or fun? Then share it with a friend who you think would benefit from the dish. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Facebook, and subscribe to my channel on YouTube so you never miss any of the latest tips, tricks, and tutorials to help your business grow. And you get to see my adventures through the wide world of entrepreneurship and how I use the freedom running my own business gives me. Also, remember to head over to katecosta.com so you can get in on the conversation about how to build your business to success so you can live your life your way.